a fire we reported at the old fire hall is still burning out.
Do you sometimes feel confused or lost in the complications and complexities of life? Do you feel drained, listless, or exhausted from the daily burdens and responsibilities? Why not seek our campus ministers on air every Tuesday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon? Listen to our counselors from the Loyola School's Campus Ministry Office as they ground our lives in our faith, in our school's spiritual tradition. Campus Ministers on Air. Be guided, be inspired, be blessed. Listen to our Campus Ministers on Air.
Calling on all young male professionals. Do you wish to live an extraordinary life? Are you tired of the routine and mundane and long for a dynamic, adventurous, and even dangerous life? Do you wish to make your life count and hope to make an impact long after you're gone? Do you wish to live a life of service to society, to country, and to dear Mother Earth? Then you are the one we are looking for. Consider the Society of Jesus. Join the church's gallant army and turn your world upside down. Call the Jesuits Vocations Promotions Team 426-6101, local 3406. Once again, 426-6101, local 3406.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan, the voice of the Blue Eagle. Tara na't simulan ang inyong umaga sa mga magagandang refleksyon tungkol sa ating buhay at pananampalataya. Kasama sina Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, Father J. Boy Gonzales at Father Nono Alfonso ng Kapisanan ni Jesus, Father Cali Llamado ng Manila Cathedral at Binibining Risa Singson Kaupeng ng Light of Jesus Community dito sa Kapit Pandasal sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Handa ka ba para sa iyong biyahe? Ako si Risa Singson Kaupeng, book author at editor. Magkapit pandasal muna tayo. Nung nakaraang buwan, nagpunta kaming magkakaibigan sa Bangkok. Ilang buwan naming pinaghandaan ito at habang lumalapit ang petsa ng aming biyahe, lalong naging matindi ang pagplano ng aming 5-day itinerary. Nilista namin lahat na gusto naming makita, makain at mapasyalan. Pati kung anong isusuot namin ay kasama sa aming pagplano. Naisip ko tuloy, ganito din ba tayo kadetalyeng magplano para sa ating huling biyahe mula sa mundong ito? Dahil sa maraming mga kilala kong namatay at mga lamay na aking napuntahan nitong nakaraang taon, laman ng isip ko ang ating huling hantungan. Kung alam kaya natin ang eksaktong petsa kung kailan tayo mamamatay, iibahin kaya natin ang ating pamumuhay? Maiiba kaya ang ating mga pang-araw-araw na desisyon, gawain, at mga taong ibig kasama? Kapatid, lahat tayo ay mamamatay. Alam natin yan. Pero mas makakatulong sigurong isipin na tayong lahat ay namamatay na. Dahil bawat araw ay isang hakbang palapit sa ating hukay. Ang tanong, paano tayong mabubuhay ngayon sa araw na ito? Tayo magdasal. Panginoon, naway gamitin ko ang bawat araw na inyong kaloob bilang paghahanda para sa aking paglakbay patungong langit. Amen.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugo. Todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong. Lipad Blue Eagle, galing hiding at tigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan.
Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan, ang socio-political apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kuwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan.
All right. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Welcome to another Friday episode of Kuwentuhang Bayan dito sa Radyo Katipunan. Magandang umaga po sa ating mga katipunero at katipunera. Ayan.
May
paklat pa, no?
Salamat
Salamat po no sa ating mga katipunero at katipunera na sumusubaybay sa atin ngayong umaga at linggo-linggo. Ako po si Brother Martin Candelaria, isang Jesuit scholastic na kasalukuyang nag-aaral ng philosophy at na-assign sa Simbahang Lingkod Bayan. At kasama ko po ngayon ang aking kapwa Jesuit scholastic no na si Brother Chesco Labuntog. So say hi ka naman dyan, Brother Chesco.
Hello, magandang umaga mga katipunero at katipunera. Ayan, nabubulol na po ako. No? Tamang-tama, kasama ko talaga yan si Brother Martin dito sa scholasticate natin sa Loyola House of Studies. And may mga pag-uusapan na kami mamaya no, ng mga hot issues. Sana makinig kayo. Hot issues talaga, no?
Hot talaga.
Yes, hot talaga, Mars. Mainit. Mainit. Pero may paparating na bagyo, Martin, kaya mag-ingat tayo.
Correct. Oo. Kaya
Bagyong...
hindi masyadong maliwanag
Yes.
yung yung lighting ko dito kasi kulang ng sunlight.
Kaya yan talaga ang concern ni Brother Martin ngayon.
Siyempre, talaga, kailangan nating maghanda.
Yes, kailangan natin maghanda. Siguraduhin natin na nakapag-ayos tayo ng maigi para hindi tayo mabiktima ng bagyong ito. So, prepared. Let's be prepared, no? Mamaya, magjo-join sa atin si John Warren. Sa ngayon, kami muna ni Brother Martin ang kachika nyo, no, mga Maricists. Kung okay lang sa inyo yun, mga Maricis, no?
Alright. Sige, no, habang hinihintay natin si Sir Jan, no? Mag-ano muna tayo, Chesco, bago ang lahat, no? Kumusta muna, no? Kamusta ka? Kumusta ang naging linggo, no? Sige.
Ayan, ako muna, no? Nako, ang daming nangyari ngayon. Siyempre, busy tayo sa ating pag-aaral sa Loyola School of Theology. Maraming ginagawa doon. At marami ring ganap sa Simbahan Lingkod ng Bayan, no? Inaayos namin ngayon yung ating volunteer program. At meron na tayong mga volunteers na paparating bukas, sana, kung hindi malakas yung bagyo. Sana matuloy yung ating orientation, no? So pinaghahandaan natin yun. Kung gusto nyo mag-volunteer sa Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan, mag-message lang kayo. At agad-agad kami magre-responda kung talagang interesado kayong mag-volunteer sa aming at gawin ang aming mga advokasya dito sa Simbahan Lingkod ng Bayan. At malay mo, baka gusto nyong maging host din sa Radyo Katipunan, di ba, Brother Martin?
Yes, of course. Ayan.
Yan. Ikaw naman, Brother Martin, kamusta ka?
Ako, no, yun din, no, marami ring paghahanda in terms of the apostolate. So ito nga, no, sa Simbahan Lingkod ng Bayan. So kasalukuyang hinahanda natin, no, Brother Chesko, ang ating mga modules, no? Particularly ang ating Kuwentuhang Bayan
Kuwentuhang
modules,
Bayan, yes.
pati rin ang ating CST Formation Series modules, no? So, medyo busy rin talaga, no? At itong dadating na weekend nga, no? Again, kung hindi tayo maantalan ng bagyo, no? We hope to really sit down with the team para maisulat ang ating modules, no?
Yes.
Sige.
Yes. Ako, naniniwala talaga ako, Brother Martin, na malaki ang maitutulong ng mga modules na ito sa ating advokasya na magbigay ng engaged citizenship programs, ating mga civic societies, lalong-lalo ng ating mga kabataan ngayon. No? So, malaki ang maitutulong nito. Kaya kung gusto niyo tumulong sa aming advokasya, muli, iniimbita namin kayo na mag-volunteer sa Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan para naman mas maging masaya ang ating community. Masaya naman, pero para mas maging masaya pa dahil sa mga gagawin pa natin. Exciting talaga, Brother Martin, no?
Yes, exciting, no? At kung hindi man po kayo makakapag-volunteer, no, pero meron kayong mga inputs and insights or mga suggestions, no, sa aming programa dito sa Radyo Katipunan, so just kindly leave a comment below, no, sa ating comment section. Yan. And feel free to get in touch also with us, no? Visit slb.ph, so that's our website, and you can also message us through our Facebook page.
Yes,
Ayan.
yes.
Sige, so simulan na natin, pintuan natin ngayon, Brother Chesko, no? Ano ba yung mga
simulan na natin.
hot topics na sinasabi mo kanina? Ano ba yung hot topics, no? Sige.
Sige, ano ba yan? Ano ba ang unang topic natin, Brother Martin, na gusto mong, itong hot topic na gusto mong pag-usapan, no? Akin lang yan, para sa akin, hot topic pala.
Grabe talaga yung hot, no? Pero sige, sabihin muna natin sa ating mga viewers, no, yung 3 topics natin for today.
Ayan,
no? So,
sige.
Isa sa mga topic na ito ay tungkol sa World Justice Project, Law Index 2022. So, yun yung una natin pag-uusapan.
Ano bang ibig sabihin yan?
Pag-uusapan yan? Yes. So, we will talk about that. No? Ano yung pangalawa nating topic, Brother Chesko?
Okay, ang pangalawa nating topic, Brother Martin, ang DENR. Ano nga na ba talaga ang mga ginagawa ng DENR ngayon? Apparently, meron silang ginagawa pero hindi lang nila pinapakita. Wala sila sa spotlight or limelight kung sasabihin natin. So, i-explore natin yan mamaya, Brother Martin, kung ano ba yung mga ginagawa ngayon ng Department of Environment and Natural Resources. Okay, that's for the second hot topic.
Second hot topic. Yung third hot topic, feeling ko ito talaga yung medyo hot, no?
Okay.
Yes, parang hot in terms of medyo interesting topic siya, no? So it's about the church, no? So mamaya pag-usapan natin yung appointment ng isang Portuguese cardinal as head of the new dicastery for culture and education. And he was appointed by Pope Francis himself. So sino ba siya? Malalaman natin yan mamaya.
Nako, sige, tingnan natin, Brother Martin.
Okay.
Sige, so, anong una natin pag-uusapan? Yes, simula na tayo. Excited na ako makipag-chiga-chiga sa iyo, Martin. Sana makahabol na si Sir John mamaya.
Alright, sige. So yung una nating topic, no, Brother Chesko, gaya ng bagay kanina, ay tungkol sa World Justice Project, Rule of Law Index 2022. No? So i-present ko yung news, no, at ilang mga terms, no, para maintindihan natin kung ano ba talaga itong World Justice Project Rule of Law Index of 2022.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so the news item ay ang Pilipinas, ang ating bansa, climbs to the 97th spot in the World Justice Project Rule of Law Index 2022. climbs to the 97th spot dahil last year, ang ating ranking last year, 2021, ay 102. We are at the
Okay.
102nd place last
So
year.
umakyat tayo, Brother Martin,
So umakyat
to
tayo,
97th.
which is good
Okay.
news, Brother Chesko, di ba?
Good
Lahat
news.
naman ng pag-akyat, no? In terms of the
Yes.
ranking, we welcome that.
Yes.
So, okay, ano ba yung World Justice Project or WJP for short? No?
Oo nga, ano
So
ba
the
yan?
WJP is an independent and multidisciplinary organization, okay, which assesses the rule of law through over 150,000 household surveys and 3,600 legal practitioner and expert surveys. No? So basically, they gather information about the implementation of the rule of law in many different countries. No? So ang ating score bilang isang bansa, no, sa Pilipinas, ang ating score this year ay 0.47, which is an improved score from last year, which is 0.46.
Ayun,
Nag-increase siya ng
umakyat ng
0.01. So umakyat.
0.01 ba? Tama?
0.01, correct. Umakyat ng
Ayan.
0.01.
Oh, kahit pa paano umakyat.
Correct, no, kahit pa paano. Tsaka, ayun nga, no, so from 102 last year, no, umakyat tayo to 97. Sige.
Nice.
So, explain ko lang, no, baka kailangan nating explain ng konti kung ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng rule of law, first and foremost.
Back to basic. Sige.
Yes, no. So, this is according to our very own Department of Justice here in the Philippines, no. Ang sabi, the rule of law is a principle of governance in which all persons, institutions, and entities, public or private, including the state itself, are accountable to laws that are publicly promulgated, equally enforced, and independently adjudicated, and which are consistent with international human rights norms and standards. So, sa madaling salita, no, kung nananagot ba talaga ang mga tao at ang mga institusyon, mapapubliko or mapapribado, sa mga batas, kung nakagawa sila ng anumang paglabag sa batas. So the rule of law requires measures to ensure adherence to the principles of the supremacy of law, equality before the law, accountability to the law, fairness in the application of the law, etc., etc. So nung binabasa ko tong definition na to, no, yung naalala ko na saying, I'm not sure if it's a saying, no, pero ang sabi, 'di ba, as we heard, no one is above the law.
Correct.
So meaning, no, this means that no person or no government official or government itself, no, is above the law.
Yes.
So the following principles are fundamental in preserving the rule of law, and therefore all people are ruled by the law.
The law.
Law enforcers, the government, judges, whoever, no, must adhere to the law without bias or prejudice. So before I continue, let us welcome, no, si Sir Jan.
Ayan, nandiyan na ang primary marisis natin, no?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning, Sir
Shout
Jan.
out natin si Roslyn. No? Bakit ako na late? Si Roslyn yung may kasalanan. Roslyn Palmes na OM.
Si Roslyn po ay part ng aming community sa SLB. Shout out kay Miss Roslyn dyan, no?
Shout out kay Miss Roslyn.
Napiniling kumain.
Sir Jan, before we proceed, no, kamusta ka muna, no? Tell us, no, kamusta ka? How your week has been?
Yeah, thank you very much na everyone. Medyo okay naman na. So na-miss ko kayo last week na hindi muna ako nag-publicly pakita kasi of course no na family member just died no in our family.
Sure.
Medyo dark yung ating profile last week. But ngayon okay na. Yun nga. So going back to the topic na sinabi ni Brother Martin no. Yeah, totoo nga bro no. That's the ideal definition sana of rule of law. But sadly, hindi masyado siyang nasusunod. Diba? I don't know if yan din yung napapansin ninyo.
Yan, oo. Buti nga nabanggit ni Jan kasi actually yung babanggitin ko pa na information, no, Actually, dun sa rule of law, marami pa ibang factors. Maraming factors actually na kino-consider in coming up with the final ranking of the country. So marami. Let me mention a few. So for example, tapos may iba-iba ring ranking per
Yung
factor. So for
factor.
example, sa
Okay.
Philippines, we are 118th, no, 118th place out of 140 countries in terms of fundamental rights. In terms of criminal justice, we are 117. So medyo mababa yun, no? Sa tingin ko medyo mababa yun, no? 101 or 101st for order and security, 82nd for regulatory enforcement, 78 for absence of corruption. Tapos, yung pinakamataas na natin na score or parang rank is 71 for open government.
Open
Sige, so,
government. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng open government? Parang yung gobyerno ay mas bukas para makipag-collaborate sa kanyang mga mamamayan at mga private sectors, I suppose?
yes, no. Interesting question yan, Brother Chesko, no. Actually, hindi rin ako very sure, no. But I would think it would really involve openness of the government to dialogue with its people, no.
Right.
To consider its constituents who are no other than the people, no, the citizens.
Right.
So,
Okay.
given this, yung pagtaas natin ng ranking from 102 to 97 in terms of the overall spot, in terms of the rule of law, no, and our respective rankings and the different factors na nabanggit ko kanina that are being considered, no, gaya ng mga fundamental rights, open government, etc. Actually, yung challenge talaga, guys, mga marisis, no, personally din for me, is to see behind the numbers.
Yeah.
To see behind the numbers. Yung curious question ko nga rito, ramdam ba natin to? Ramdam ba
Good
natin
point.
na bumuti talaga yung justice system sa Pilipinas? Ramdam ba natin na talagang nasusunod ang rule of law sa ating bansa? No? So this is an open question. Maybe you have comments on this. Maybe you have thoughts on this, Brother Chesko and Sir Jan. No, personally, would you agree with the ranking? No? Ramdam ba natin? Ramdam ba natin yung pagtaas natin sa ranking? So, your thoughts and comments?
Ako personally, bro, no, at least no, hindi ko siya masasabi na umangat tayo. Umangat tayo in terms of ranking, but in terms of the quality of how we observe the rule of law, I don't think we improved, no? It doesn't necessarily mean that if umangat tayo sa place na gumanda yung quality of our justice system. A factor there could be that umangat tayo because bumaba yung ibang countries.
Correct.
Diba? Kasi based on the numbers na pinakita natin, only 0.01 lang yung ating pagkaka-improve. So there's an improvement, no? Let's not discredit it. But in a sense, hindi naman siya ganun talaga ka-relevant, no? In terms of the number. But yun nga, no? Let's put this way, no? It doesn't necessarily mean that if umangat tayo, gumanda yung quality of the justice system, no? Of how we observe the rule of law. Kasi if napapansin natin, no, in the current time, no, maraming mga mahirap na have little access towards justice, no. But in terms of shall we say pagpapatupad ng batas, no, there is really less access for the poor, no? But kung mayaman ka, no, meron kang special treatment. But let's just face it, meron talagang ganung klaseng shall we say practice, no, in our current time, no, in the justice system. And it's becoming becoming a normal thing. Parang tanggap na ng tao, di ba? Tanggap na ng tao na if mahirap sila, okay, ganito lang kaya namin.
Which is bad, which is not good, right?
Which is not good. Kasi mayaman sila, so dapat so dapat so mabuti na lang yung corrupt kasi may nagawa. We expect that they are really corrupt, no? Kasi parang tanggap na, nagiging normal thing na sa mga tao. How about you, Brother Chesko?
Yeah, I agree. No? Parang we should not parang kumbaga we should not be settled on that kind of narrative, no? Kasi it will inflict more abuses, especially from the powerful, from our government officials who are corrupt, no? So I think responsibility natin bilang simbahang lingkod ng bayan na turuan ng ating mamamayang, lalo na yung mga faithful natin sa simbahan to not settle on this kind of narrative. And agree rin ako sa sinabi ni Sir Jan kanina, no. I think the ranking is not an accurate measure of how of our our rule of law, of how it is practiced really in the Philippines. Parang mas importante pa rin yung lived experience natin. Kailangan tanungin natin yung ating mga mamamayan if talaga bang nararamdaman nila yung pag-improve nitong rule of law. So for me naman, just to add dun sa sinabi ni Sir Jan, no, parang siguro mas importante sa akin yung index. Kasi sabi ni Jan Warren kanina na yung ranking baka naman kasi bumaba yung ibang bansa. Pero yung index that can more or less give us an accurate score of how are we as a country without being affected of the ranking, no. So let's focus more on the index. And I guess to be fair naman, I think itong ranking na ito or itong pagtaas sa ating index is good for our economy. It's good for our economy. I think this is one of the basis. This measurement on the rule of law is one of the basis of other countries, no? Possible potential investors, whether to trust or not to trust our government sa kanilang mga ini-invest sa ating bansang Pilipinas, no? So somehow we have to have that kind of healthy skepticism on this, no? Parang we have to be able to feel really that it's increasing our the quality of our rule of law. But at the same time, we also have to acknowledge then yung benefits nito sa ating ekonomiya. So yun ang aking opinion about this.
Yes, no. So thank you, no, Brother Chesko and Sir Jan, no, sa inyong inputs. Affirm ko yung sinabi niyo, no, kasi actually reported din that according to the WJD, the rule of law weakened globally for the fifth year in a row. So hindi lang sa Philippines, no, nangyayari or nakikita natin yung decline in terms of the rule of law, no. So marahil tumaas nga yung ating ranking, but it does not necessarily mean na tumaas din yung ating quality of the rule of law. Tumaas lang tayo in terms of the ranking, no.
Yes.
But in terms of the actual implementation of the quality of the rule of law, not necessarily, no.
Right.
So yun na nga yung sinasabi ng article dito. All right. Yes, no, so agree that we really have to watch out for this one, no. It's really important, no, that we participate also in processes in our local government, no, especially, no, that we know that justice is really important, no, in our country, no, and we can do something to improve the justice system in our country as well. Okay. So okay na tayo dito, guys. Can we move on to the other topic? Sige. All right.
Okay, thank you, Brother Martin. No, ako naman ngayon ang magli-lead sa ating topic sa DENR. Ano na nga ba ang mga ginagawa ng DENR ngayon sa kanyang first 100 days?
Bakit may DENR?
DENR. Ganun talaga ako magsalita. Para mas matindi. Para magtunog hot topic talaga siya. Anyway, silent worker ang ating DENR, no? I don't exactly know the approach of our DENR secretary, but she's definitely doing something, and she's doing it right, I suppose. So the DENR is continually pursuing sustainable management, no, and development of our environment. So may gumagawa sila ng more green jobs, or ano bang ibig sabihin nito? Sasagutin natin yan mamaya. And ensuring investments and revenue for the government, no, by doing responsible mining. Later i-explore natin kung talaga bang mabuti yung responsible mining. So yon, meron silang tineterm ngayon na blue and green economy. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito? Yung blue is pertaining to the fisheries or marine sectors. Blue kasi tubig. At green naman yung agriculture and forestry sectors, no. They're trying to discern or give their strategies or plan their strategies to address climate mitigation and adaptation. They're trying to make sure that these two elements for climate progresses, climate mitigation and adaptation, are applied to these sectors, no, to the fisheries and also to the forestry sectors, etc. So, ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng before we go there, let's go back to the basic, no? Ano ibig sabihin ng climate mitigation and adaptation? Ang climate mitigation, ang ibig sabihin nun ay reducing emissions. Binabawasan yung mga emissions na pinoproduce ng greenhouse gases. Okay, ano yung greenhouse gases review? Ang greenhouse gases ay trap heat sa ating atmosphere that warms our planet. Nagko-cause ng init sa ating mundo, no? At kapag natatrap yung heat, nagkakaroon tayo ng climate change. Kumbaga nagbabago yung weather systems natin sa mundo dahil sa abnormal trapping of heat of the greenhouse gases, no? So, climate mitigation, i-manage ng ating DENR, no? Tinatry nilang i-manage yung climate mitigation sa ating mga sectors, sa ating fisheries and ating forestry sectors, no? Making sure that they do not produce as much emission as they have been producing in the past, no? Making sure also that the way they farm or the way they do their proceedings there is really environmentally sustainable. Hindi siya nagko-cause ng greenhouse gases and whatnot. Yun, no? So the second one is the climate adaptation. Ang ibig sabihin lang nito ay strategically we have to adapt to the climate change. Hindi tayo basta-basta, hindi na tayo yung parang pigilan talaga natin yung climate change kasi parang medyo too late na tayo dun, nangyayari na. So we also need to learn how to adapt with our current climate change situation, no? And that's what DENR is trying to strategize to our sectors also, na how can we move forward amidst this current situation of the climate change. For instance, the sea level rise or the extreme weather events. For paano natin maliligtas or masaserve yung ating mga agriculture sector or fisheries sector. So, yun ang ibig sabihin, yun ang target ng ating DENR ngayon sa ating mga sectors, no? So, they are also preparing what we call resiliency roadmaps. Ano ba ibig sabihin nitong roadmap, resiliency roadmaps? They are basically parang allow us to know what to do to reduce and improve resiliency, no? For example, kung binagyo tayo, i-assess ng DENR kung paano tayo mas pwedeng maging matatag, no? Kung paano tayo pwedeng mag-improve sa ating sa ating pagkabiktima sa mga bagyo. Yun lang ang ibig sabihin ng resiliency roadmaps, no? So maraming ginagawa ang DENR ngayon. If we're going to settle on the numbers, nag-develop sila ng 646 hectares of forest land. They also produce 702,000 seedlings. And nagdadag rin sila ng mga tao. Ang dami nilang dinagdag ng mga tao. Nagdagdag sila ng 944 forest extension officers to protect our forest at 154 technical staff. And nag-generate din sila ng more or less 2,000 jobs, no? Just to make sure that our environment is protected and maintained, no? So, yun. Maybe yun muna tayo. Ang dami ko ng mga sinabi about this green and blue economy of the DENR. Maybe your thoughts on this, no, about DENR, and maybe we can talk about the mining later on. Sige.
Sige, no, thank you, Brother Chesko, no. Point out ko lang, no, yung sinabi ni Brother Chesko kanina before he mentioned all the numbers, no, and the statistics, no. Actually, yung DENR nga, no, parang amazed, no. Kaka-amaze siya kasi during the first 100 days of the new administration, as pointed out nga by one of our staff in SLB, no, parang medyo tahimik siya, no, parang it's a silent worker, no, hindi masyadong binibida yung mga or parang wala tayong masyadong naririnig na news, no, pero actually marami pala silang projects, no, marami pala silang mga accomplishments, no. And when I was reading the news, no, nakaka-amaze nga din, not only in terms of the development of the blue and the green economy, no, pero yung isang particular na kinatuwa ko din dito is that DNR really also helps provide jobs, no. Gaya nung nabanggit ni Brother Chesko, marami silang hinire na mga forest extension officers, marami mga technical staff, almost 2,000 jobs generated, no. So, and this is across regions, no, regions 5, 6, 9, and 10, and the Cordillera. So, kudos talaga, no, to the DENR. So, sana magpatuloy. Sige. So, yun muna yung sabihin ko. Thank you.
Yeah. Sana talaga magpatuloy yung ating DENR, no, sa kanilang magagandang ginagawa. And maybe to add to Brother Martin, I just really like how DENR now is really strategically doing something based on scientific data, no? Parang they are basing their analysis or their response on data that are real, data that are scientifically proven, and data that are proven to help our environment and achieve a more environmentally sustainable practices in our country, no? So I really like how they use, for instance, the term climate mitigation and adaptation, because I think, hindi ko alam if ginamit na to ng mga past DNR secretaries or government. So now parang that kind of gives me a lot of trust and hope na talagang may ginagawa tayo sa environment at considering also the urgency of this climate situation that we have all over the world. So sana talaga magpatuloy yung ginagawa ni Secretary Yulo. Doon. Ikaw dyan.
Ano lang ang naisip ko lang is ganito. Of course, hopefully that the DENR will always put the priority of the environment, no, and always have, no, that DNR will always put its priority towards the benefit of the poor and not just to the rich people. Like for example, hopefully, no, yung mga katutubo natin, no, or yung mga tao na in a sense, no, na makaka-benefit will be the poor talaga, no. If ever yun yung mangyayari.
True.
Kasi of course, no, it's always towards the tug of war of economy versus the environment. No,
Yeah.
and we are going
Yeah.
to sacrifice, no, if we are going to sacrifice no, at least a portion of the environment, and hopefully naman, no, na yung makaka-benefit ay yung mga may mahirap, hindi lang yung mga mayayaman.
Yeah, that's true, Jan. And maybe to add to that also, ngayon may ginagawang project din ang DNR na anti-illegal logging and forest protection program also. This is maybe related also to the advocacies of our indigenous peoples, no, their protection. So what they're doing right now is they renewed almost 3,000 forest patroller to make sure that really our forests are protected. So this is something consoling. And maybe yung issue lang sa akin ngayon na kailangan nating bantayan is yung mining, no? Sabi naman ng DENR, responsible mining daw ito. Pero hindi natin alam kung meron ba talagang responsible mining in the first place. Kasi
responsible mining.
siguro siguro ang ibig sabihin lang siguro noon ay magmamine ka pero you have to follow a certain process making sure that other biodiversities and ecology will not be affected by the mining. But we really see that mining in itself is really bad. It really destroys a lot of biodiversities and ecologies, no? So it's inevitable. It's really something that happens when we do mining. So just to add, ginagawa nila ito, parang the DNR is allowing this also because it will uplift our economy. It will provide, sabi nila, 430 billion investments. No, it will really add to our economy. It will really help. So sabi naman ni Secretary Loizaga na they are working with the Department of Finance to make sure that this is happening. This is really beneficial for the country, and making sure also that it will not be abused. No, it will not be abused. This mining situation. So yun siguro yung tanong ko, no, or invitation ko sa ating mga viewers ngayon, no. Kailangan natin bantayan yung ating mining, yung practice ng DNR on mining. Kailangan natin bantayan if responsible nga ba talaga yung kanilang processes na gagawin. But I really have trust also. I really don't want to be biased, no, but knowing the background of Secretary Tony, I think I can trust her. But still, let's be careful. Let's be kind of skeptical just to make sure that DNR and the Secretary is doing the right thing.
Right. Actually, consolation yan, Brother Chesco, no, from the secretaries of DENR, na talagang pag sinabi nilang responsible mining, they will make sure that it will really be, it will not be prone to abuse, no? Talagang it will be responsible. So, when you said, Brother Chesco, earlier, no, na talagang kailangan bantayan, siguro, talagang paano natin magagawa yun is to really ask the question, no? To really ask the question, to what extent, no, can we really push for responsible mining?
Yes.
Paano natin yan? Kasi syempre, the concept of responsible mining, of course, it's very clear, no? Pero in terms of, for example, passing a law, no? Ano yung parang implementing rules and regulations niyan, no? Paano ba talaga ma-actualize na responsible siya, no? So I think it's a question really that the people need to really ask, no, and really demand from the agency, and yes, no, we trust. Ang gusto lang naman talaga natin is assurance, di ba, brother?
Exactly.
Brother Chesco, no, ang gusto lang talaga natin is assurance na okay, maybe we really have to do mining because of the economy or because of investments, no? But how do we do it responsibly? We need that kind of assurance that if we push through with this practice, hindi magsasuffer yung ating biodiversity, indigenous peoples, etc., etc.
True. Lalo na pag sinasabi nating responsible mining, medyo deceptive siya, no? Parang, sige, meron palang ganitong, meron talagang ganitong mining na responsable. So I think, just to add to Brother Martin, one of the ways that we can be assured is for the DNR to provide us scientific data that they're really making sure that it's safe. Their mining is safe, and they're really making sure that our biodiversities on certain forestries are preserved and maintained, no? So balik tayo doon sa scientific data. Kailangan natin yon, just to be certain that they're really responsible in their mining. Ayan. So dami na natin pinag-usapan tungkol sa DNR. Next topic naman tayo. Ang sinasabi ni Brother Martin na hot issue. At I guess maraming masasabi dito si Sir John, dahil passionate siya dito kahapon habang kami nag-uusap. Sige. Sige, ano tong third issue natin na pag-uusapan?
Alright. Sino ba to? Ako ba to, Brother Chesko?
Gusto mo ba ikaw, Sir John? Or...
Ayun na. Kaya ko na sa inyo.
Sige, ano ko na lang, no? Daanan ko na lang. Then just add, no, kung meron akong malimutan, no? So basically, yung news, no, is Pope Francis appoints, no? Actually, I like the headline of this article. Pope Francis taps a like-minded Portuguese cardinal to have a new dicastery for culture and education. So yung the name of this cardinal is Cardinal Jose Mendonca. Tama ba, Brother Chesko? Mendonca?
Yes, tama.
Okay, Cardinal Jose Mendonca, who is a published poet. So first of all, he's a cardinal. At the same time, he's also a published poet. No, and then he is also very passionate in terms of dialogue and education. No, kaya naman very fitting ang kanyang appointment as the head of the Dicastery for Culture and Education, which is a new curial department. Curial meaning in Rome, no, the headquarters of the Catholic Church in Rome, no, that brings together the former Congregation for Catholic Education and Pontifical Council for Culture. No,
yes.
According to the Constitution, no, as si Cardinal Mendonca bilang head ng Dicastery for Culture Education, his tasks will include working with the bishops worldwide to promote the teaching of the Catholic religion in schools, ensuring that the integrity of the Catholic faith is safeguarded in doctrinal teaching. No, he will also be asked to develop the fundamental principles of education regarding schools, Catholic and ecclesiastical institutes of higher education and research. So, and just to give a context, no, ang ating Catholic schools around the world, no, is approximately 200,000.
Wow.
Medyo marami. And they serve 62.2 million students. No?
So ibig sabihin malaki ang influence nito ni Cardinal Mendonca, no? Dahil ang daming imagine 62.2 million students around the globe. Yan.
Hopefully talagang maging malaki rin yung reach ng office niya, no? And finally, he will be in charge of promoting the church in the world of culture, no? So how does church figure into culture nga ba, no? Showing a preference for dialogue as an indispensable tool of true encounter, so that cultures may become ever more open to the gospel as likewise the Christian faith towards them. No? So far, yun muna. Anything that you might add regarding Cardinal Jose Mendonca?
Actually, diba yung topic natin supposedly dito is about traditionalist and progressive. Parang Cardinal Mendonca, tama?
Mendonca, yeah.
Mendonca belongs to the progressive.
Yes.
Progressive people, no, progressive church leaders. And of course, no, if a progressive person takes office, the ones who criticize are the traditionals, diba? So yung mga tao that stick or church leaders or church people who stick no to the traditional or at least the foundational in a sense. Let's not just use the term traditional na lang, to the foundational and of course many of them believe that the pre-Vatican II kind of ecclesiology so yun. So for me the presence of Cardinal there somehow gives us hope wherein current issues or at least current trends of the of society nowadays will be shall we say taken into consideration by the church or whatsoever especially now that he's in charge of the education sector.
Yeah. What I like about this progressive cardinal who's now the head of this dicastery is he really values creativity, He really values dialogue. He in fact said, and I quote, theology needs the world. And that he is very interested in how modern culture, our popular culture, actually uses the Bible. And the relationship also between our current culture, the popular culture, and Christianity. How will we be able to make sure that the different sectors in the church are close to the church or to the Catholic Church, very, very Pope Francis, very synodal, very listening also, and very pro-dialogue. Kaya nga medyo inaano siya ng ating mga traditionalists na mga kapatid,
Right.
Kasi ayaw nila to. They want to be more, I don't want to be judgmental, pero they tend to skew towards exclusivity rather than inclusivity, And I guess sa Simbahan Lingkod ng Bayan, we are towards inclusivity. Yun.
Of course, diba? The Catholic Church, Catholic comes from the Greek word katos.
Ayan.
Ano ibig sabihin ng katos? Sige.
Catholicos.
Si John Warren po ay isang religion teacher, So,
So meaning nasan ba yung reviewer ko?
nagre-review po siya para sa kanyang upcoming
Wait, what else pa ba is interesting about this cardinal? Baka may ma-add pa kayo.
Yes, so Brother Chesco, na-mention mo nga na kaya siya medyo kini-criticize dahil sa kanyang mga stances in terms of homosexuality, about abortion and very contentious topics, and he's very clear about his stance of support in these issues. So kaya naman talaga nag-gather niya yung eye or yung attention ng mga critics. But what I want to share sa ating mga viewers ngayon ay yung kanyang response. Ano naman yung sagot niya?
Nako, eto
ano
na.
yung sagot niya doon sa
Ano bang mga sagot niya doon sa mga
sa
kritisismo
kanya?
sa kanya? Makinig kayo.
Sabi niya, very natural, so very, very open siya. But then he said, I don't choose the people with whom I have to walk.
Yes.
Since I don't choose, I don't judge. The attitude of the church has to be one of welcome, of a normal accompaniment of what people live and are.
Amen.
Very and the next statement that he said is very specific to the to an issue, the issue of marriage. He said, whether remarried Christians, those wounded by the experience of marital breakdown or the reality of new irregular families or homosexual people, the church must find a space for listening. So ang ganda, Ang ganda nung pinoposter niya na values,
Yes. Agreed.
This is his personal values, But I think, with him as the head of the dicastery, he will be able to share this with the greater church, And what the church really needs naman talaga at this point, at this very critical juncture in church history, where there's a lot of progression in terms of issues such as homosexuality and abortion and other contentious issues. It's really for the church to become a listening church, as it really should, di ba? As it really should, no?
Yun naman
So,
siguro ang gusto ni Jesus sa simbahan, no? Tayo yung makinig.
at yun ang ginawa rin ni Jesus.
Yun
no?
din ang ginawa ni Jesus.
What would
Right.
you do?
So
Sarah?
amazing Cardinal Mendonca, and he's really an echo of what Pope Francis is already saying in the past, no? We heard Pope Francis saying, "Who am I to judge?" Di ba? So he's now saying this, things along the same line, no? Sige, a little word lang on Pope Francis, no? Meron ding quote si Pope Francis, no? About I guess in light of the appointment of Cardinal Mendonca, he said, "We want to be defenders of the identity and dignity of every individual, and to teach young people to accept everyone without discrimination. For this reason, education commits us to accept people as they are, not how we want them to be, without judging and condemning anyone." No?
Wow. Napakaganda naman nun, Pope Francis.
Wonderful, no, wonderful. So I really have high hopes, no, for the church, no. Yes, parang medyo challenging, no, but I think if the church will really learn to listen to people on the ground and their sentiments, I think that will be a lot of there will be a lot of positive changes to the church as an institution.
And speaking of changes, Brother Martin, marami sigurong magbabago, no? Parang a shift in direction, especially dun sa bagong hinihead ni Cardinal na dicastery, no? Kasi in the past, for instance, the Congregation for the Catholic Education, yung isang minerge doon sa bagong dicastery, it's very explicit parang of its opposition to homosexual activity, no? Barring that homosexual with deep-seated tendencies from entering seminaries, for instance, or speaking against gender ideology in Catholic schools. So they're very explicit on this before, in the past, this Congregation for Catholic Education. And of course, since bago na at mas progressive na ang head, si Cardinal, talagang may mga pagbabago. May mga pagbabago na mangyayari in terms of church governance and authority. So tingnan natin, bantayan natin kung paano ba talaga ito mararamdaman ng mga Catholic schools, especially in terms of the culture or the spirituality in each of the Catholic schools. Especially dito sa Pilipinas, no? Maraming mga Catholic schools sa Pilipinas. Tayo mismo, Ateneo de Manila, Catholic schools tayo. So, tingnan natin. Excited na rin ako talaga.
Ateneo nun.
Di ba? Ikaw Sir John, ano kaya ang yung mga thoughts about our new cardinal leader? Yan.
Well, second, of course, no, the foundation of our faith is always important. No, hindi naman yun natin may matatanggal, di ba? In as much as we believe, no, the sanctity of human person, the sanctity of marriage, etc., etc. But of course, no, we always believe then, di ba, that the foundation of our Catholic social teachings, no, we are all images of God. No, we dream for a kingdom of God. We aspire towards a kingdom of God, which is already present but not yet. But if we are the reason why people will not experience the kingdom of God, no, there's a question in us: na are we becoming Christ to other people? No, when I was sick, no, were you there? No, when I was hungry, did you give me food? No, when I was naked, did you give me shelter to lay on my head, di ba? So yun yung question natin. As much as hindi tayo pareho lahat ng pagtingin towards a particular moral issue, no? But let's not always remember that the foundation, that there's also a foundation in our faith wherein we believe that We are all images of God, no? Regardless man kung ano yung nagawa natin, mahal tayo ng Panginoon, no? If those people who believe that if magkakasala ka, hindi ka napapatawarin ng Panginoon, well, what kind of God do you believe? Diba? Ako personally, I believe in a God that does not I believe in a God that, of course, a God that does justice, but I also believe of a compassionate, loving God, no? God who does not allow his people to suffer. I mean, no, a God that does not allow, or I mean, does not will, rather, a God that does not will that his people will suffer.
Suffer.
No? He allows us to suffer for the sake that for a greater good, no? But in a sense, if we become true Christians, no, I believe that we should also observe that foundation.
Yeah, that's true, John, and I really agree with you. It's really a manifestation that the church, for me at least, the church is more and more connected maybe to God's will of really listening to others and correcting also our notion or our image of God as someone who is distant from us. No, God is actually very near to us and very accepting, whether sabi nga ni John kanina, kung ano man yung ginawa natin before or kung sino man tayo, hindi importante sa Diyos yun. That's secondary. It's more of parang kung sino ka talaga. Ikaw, bilang ikaw, I love you already. And that gives me a lot of consolation as a Catholic, let alone a religious, no? That we are going there, that we are more listening, that we are more inclusive, that we are humbling down. Katulad ng kinosis ni Jesus, no? He humbled down in order to listen to everyone, especially those who are usually marginalized and who have been marginalized in the church, rejected even. So, yun, it's really consoling for me. Ano yun?
Spirituality of dissent.
Spirituality of dissent. Yung bumababa talaga at nakikinig sa mga totoong experiences ng mga tao. Brother Martin.
Yes, no, agree. I could not agree more with the listening, the need for the church to be a listening church, no. And siguro maybe one final point, no, kasi ngayon topic natin is about traditionalists and progressives. No, I think one challenge for the church is not just to listen to one side, but to really listen to both. To listen to those who are more progressive and also to listen to those who are traditionalists, kasi lahat naman tayo may pinanggagalingan, no? Hindi naman yan out of nowhere kung bakit tayo nagre-react sa mga bagay, no? So I guess the challenge for the church is to listen to everyone, no? To listen to everyone. A listening church, no? And really my hope is for a church to be an instrument of dialogue, and not only dialogue, no, but reconciliation between the two.
That's a more like a more progressive, no, step than dialogue, really reconciliation.
Yes, no, the work of the church is really, no, reconciliation also.
Yes.
All right, time check, guys. It's 12, no?
Dami natin pinag-usapan.
Kaya pa ba na isang mabilis na round lang at takeaways, no? Pinaka natutunan, pinaka tumatak ngayong umaga before I close our kwentuhan today. Sige, simula na tayo kay Jan. Sir Jan. Naka-mute ka.
Mute pala ako, sorry. Sa akin, maybe from the topics that we have, no, justice and love, no. Justice is the minimum expression of love.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Brother Chesko.
Ako naman, takeaway ko is more of interior feeling. I'm consoled that our DNR is doing something for an urgent matter, an urgent ecological matter. So I'm really curious and interested and would want to really see how they progress, how the leadership of Secretary Yulo will progress eventually in this department, DNR. Thank you.
Right. Yung sa akin naman, no, it's really hope, no? A hope, no? Gaya na nabanggit ni Brother Chesko, no? That really the government is doing its job, no? As we have seen in the ANR. And highlight ko lang ulit, no? On our first topic earlier about the World Justice Project, no? So talaga ang nag-i-implement talaga naman ng, one of the implementers of the rule of law in our country is really the police force, no? So yung police siya, no? So sana when they welcome the results of the World Justice Project, no, na tumaas yung ranking natin or tumaas yung ating index, no, hopefully, no, they will be strengthened to continue the work that they do, no. Hindi lang puro salita, no, because they said, no, they welcome, and then they agree with the ranking, saying that it's fair and objective, and that law enforcement, they really want law enforcement to become effective, no, and human rights and the rule of law to flourish, no. So when they say those things, I just hope, no, na hindi lang yun mga salita, pero meron ding gawa.
Nararamdaman din talaga.
All right, so it's 12 o'clock, guys, no. Sana po mayroon kayong mga napulot, no, ang aming mga viewers ngayon, no, mula sa aming kwentuhan ngayong umaga. Kami po muli ang Simbahang Lingkod Bayan at kita-kits na naman po sa susunod na episode next week ng Kuwentuhang Bayan sa Radyo Katipunan. Maraming salamat po.
Salamat po.
Bye.
Bye.
Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan, ang social-political apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kuwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayon, tulong at tulong. Lipat na Blue Eagle, kaning giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo,
Rejoice, refresh, renew, and reflect. Join us for an hour of music that uplifts the soul. Listen to your favorite Jesuit music ministry artists. This is JMM Radio. JMM Radio. Get your day's dose of inspirational music. Tune in to JMM Radio every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Keep the Word of God strong in our lives. Keep the spirit of hope and the grace of healing alive every day. Keep the faith. Join us every morning for the celebration of the Holy Eucharist with the Jesuits from the Philippine province. Keep the faith. Daily Mass for Hope and Healing streams from Monday to Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning on Radyo Katipunan's Facebook page, YouTube channel, Twitter feed, and other social media partners. The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour. Radyo Katipunan.